We have a full house. We have all sides and all perspectives on this big story. Joining me on Dhurandhar are Arfa Khanam Sherwani, a senior journalist. Saira Shah Halim is a political activist and a political leader and an analyst. Zeba Zoraya is an advocate and columnist. Meghna Pant is an author. Joining us on the show in a moment, we'll also be joined by Adwaita Kala. She's written scripts for films. But Arfa, let me begin by asking you, welcome Arfa. This Ranveer Singh starrer is close to 200 crore and counting already. It's drawing large audiences to theatres. What makes you unhappy about this film? One of your comments seems to indicate that this is an injection, a dose of poison that's being injected in society. Zehar ka naya injection, or words to that effect. Explain that, Arfa.
This definitely is Zehar ka naya injection because, as you said, the film is doing good business, which explains itself that hate and bigotry and majoritarianism and anti-Muslim sentiment, when you incite, it gives you profit. So it's a profitable business. I think this film is nothing but 3.5 hours of absurd display of, I would say, intense violence, going to an extent where the whole Muslim community, it is not just about Muslims of Pakistan, it is about Muslims in general, because the Muslim symbols have been portrayed in such a manner that the whole Muslim way of life has been attacked. Not just the name, the way they treat women, the way they dress up, what they eat, how do they torture, how they live their lives. I think the aim of the film is not to target Pakistani Muslims and create some kind of an entertainment show, but it is definitely to benefit the majority, the government in power, the political party in power, which actually thrives based on division in the society. And this film, literally, I'm going to tell you, Gaurav, I have reported on Indian society for the past 25 years. This film hit me so hard. Me and my friend, we both had gone to watch this film, and we were planning to have dinner after the film. Trust me, you, Gaurav, there was so much, the scale of violence, the intensity of violence, people, life, screen pe itni badi screen pe gale kaate ja rahe, and it was unbearable. It was impossible to tolerate. And I'm saying this as someone who's covered wars, communal violence, and who's seen all kind of absurdity and ugliness in the society. We decided not to have dinner. After 3.5 hours of watching this film, we both sat in silence. It was such a tough sit, and my friend is rather upset with me because this was my decision to watch the film. She said, why did you made me suffer 3.5 hours of this whole absurdity, ugliness? So I think the filmmaker is being completely irresponsible.
Does this show Indian Muslims in poor light, or does this show Pakistanis in poor light? Did you get the impression that it gaslights Indian Muslims?
Gaurav, me and you are journalists, and perhaps we are able to make that clear distinction, right? We are trained to think that way. But you cannot really expect this from Aam Janata, the innocent public. I mean, look at this, Gaurav. If your neighbor is called Hamza or Rahman or Malik, are you not supposed to think that this is the same Hamza and same Muhammad and same Rahman that I've just watched in this film, who's so brutal, who's so inhuman, whose way of life is questionable? So it is, and everything, to leave aside the names, even the way of life, the way the film mocks every Muslim symbol. They've even talked about khatna, and there are like clear Hindi abuses, slurs on screen. I can't even watch this film, let's say, with an 18-year-old. I mean, I know it's an A-rated film, but this is a completely unwatchable film for a variety of reasons, and the last and not the least is the misogyny. It is a man's world. There are no women. Women are either they're silent or meek, or they are just supporting this whole, whatever was going on the screen.
Let me get Zeba to respond. Zeba, the impression is that it targets Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror. But Arfa believes, it's targeting Muslims in general, including Indian Muslims. Do you feel the same way? Your take on Dhurandhar?
Don't watch Dhurandhar if you can't handle the discomfort of truth, because the movie isn't violent. The movie isn't, violent. It's Pakistan histories. Dhurandhar is not a hate cinema, it's a memory cinema. And for once, Bollywood isn't making Indians to feel guilty for demanding security. It's asking the Pakistan's deep state to feel guilty for exporting terror. The same ecosystem that celebrated Pathan for glamorizing an ISI agent is suddenly allergic to a film that shows ISI liari gangs and terror proxies as they actually function. The meltdown tells you less about the film and more about who has been controlling the narrative for 30 years. ये film Muslims के खिलाफ नहीं, it's like पाकिस्तान के terror industrial complex के खिलाफ है. You know, when The Wire calls it an ultra nationalist
Okay,
troll
yeah.
film,
So no
accuses it.
organizations. I'm talking to all individuals, but complete your point, ma'am. And go on, ma'am.
Can you repeat? I cannot.
Yeah, okay. Okay, no, I was just saying, just don't name any organization. That's not our intention. We only want the focus on your thoughts on Dhurandhar.
See, the film is said to be Islamophobic and anti-Muslim, and I don't think it is. The film is said to fuel hate against Muslim. It is saying that you are using Islamic slogan and imaginary to be irresponsible, but the villain itself are institutions and not a religion. The film targets state-sponsored jihadism, ISI terror conclusions, and criminal
Okay.
political nexuses in
Arfa, you want
Pakistan
to
and not an
quickly
entire
respond to
faith.
Zeba before I bring in Saira, Adwaita, and Meghna?
Because,
Arfa, you want to quickly respond?
Besides, I'm saying, say whatever you want to say about ISI. Even as a journalist, I understand that Pakistan uses terrorism as a state policy. Say whatever you want to say about ISI, their military, their government. I don't care a bit. What I'm trying to say here is that we should not reduce our nationalism, our deshbhakti to just Pakistan hating. Gaurav, for heaven's sake, this nation is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. We cannot reduce our great country, our great civilization to just hating one nation. I mean, if Hindu jag raha hai, Hindu is not just hating Pakistan, Hindu is also questioning casteism, questioning inequality, questioning, the curtailment of freedom, questioning, poverty in this country, questioning everything that should be questioned. Why are we really forcing ourselves through popular cinema, through popular culture, to make ourselves so narrow-minded and so petty that our
But
whole
how are we
idea of a
narrow minded
nation.
and petty?